Chavez returns backstage on GH. Carly meets Spencer at Michael's treatment facility. GH spoilers. The tension in Port Charles was palpable as secrets unraveled and destinies collided. General Hospital's fans had been waiting for weeks, speculating about the dramatic twists and turns that would rock their favorite characters' lives. And now, the moment had arrived. Chavez was back, Carly was on a mission, and Spencer found himself at the center of a storm. Chavez returns backstage. It was a quiet evening at the Savoy, or so it seemed. The dimly lit club, known for its sultry jazz nights, had become the unlikely stage for Chavez's return. The enigmatic figure had been off the radar for months, leaving fans to wonder about his fate. His unexpected reappearance was anything but low-key. Curtis Ashford, the Savoy's owner, was the first to spot him. Chavez stood backstage, his sharp suit immaculate, his piercing eyes scanning the room as if calculating his next move. Curtis approached cautiously, his instincts telling him that trouble wasn't far behind. "Chavez," Curtis said, his voice steady but wary. "Didn't think I'd see you again." Chavez's lips curved into a sly smile. "Port Charles has a way of pulling people back, doesn't it?" Before Curtis could respond, the backstage door creaked open and Jordan Ashford stepped in. Her eyes widened at the sight of Chavez, and her hand instinctively moved to her sidearm. "What are you doing here?" Jordan demanded, her tone sharp. "Relax, Commissioner," Chavez replied smoothly. "I'm not here to cause trouble. Just tying up some loose ends." But Jordan wasn't convinced. Chavez's reputation preceded him, and his presence in Port Charles could only mean one thing: chaos. Carly meets Spencer. Meanwhile, across town, Carly Corinthos was on a mission. She had heard through the grapevine that Spencer Cassadine was visiting Michael at the treatment facility. The news had caught her off guard. Michael had been struggling with his own demons, and Spencer's involvement was a surprise. Carly arrived at the facility, her determination evident in her stride. The sterile halls of the center were a stark contrast to the chaos of her thoughts. She found Spencer sitting in the common area, his usually confident demeanor replaced by a pensive expression. "Spencer," Carly called out, her voice a mix of curiosity and concern. Spencer looked up, startled. "Carly? What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing," she replied, taking a seat across from him. "What's going on?" Spencer hesitated, his gaze dropping to the floor. "I've been visiting Michael. He's been through a lot, and I thought, maybe I could help." Carly's heart softened. Despite his Cassadine blood, Spencer had a good heart. "That's thoughtful of you. Michael needs all the support he can get." Spencer nodded, but there was a flicker of guilt in his eyes. Carly noticed it immediately. "Spencer, is there something you're not telling me?" she pressed. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "There's something I've been keeping from everyone. It's about Victor." Carly's breath caught. Victor Cassadine's name always brought trouble, and she had a feeling this was no exception. Michael's treatment facility. Inside the treatment facility, Michael Corinthos was making progress, but the road to recovery was far from smooth. He had been battling the weight of his family's legacy and the personal losses that had left scars on his soul. His sessions with Dr. Collins had been grueling but enlightening. The doctor's calm demeanor and insightful questions had helped Michael confront the pain he had buried for so long. But today's session was different. As he sat across from Dr. Collins, Michael felt a surge of unease. "Michael," Dr. Collins began, "you've made great strides, but there's one area we haven't touched on yet. Your relationship with your father." Michael's jaw tightened. The mere mention of Sonny Corinthos was enough to stir a whirlwind of emotions. "I'm not ready," Michael said, his voice firm. Dr. Collins leaned forward, his expression empathetic. "I understand. But healing often requires us to face the things we'd rather avoid." Michael's hands clenched into fists. He had spent years trying to reconcile the love and resentment he felt for Sonny. The man who had raised him, protected him, and yet caused so much pain. As Michael wrestled with his thoughts, a knock on the door interrupted the session. It was Spencer, accompanied by Carly. "Is this a bad time?" Spencer asked, his tone hesitant. Dr. Collins looked to Michael, who nodded. "It's fine. Come in." The room felt crowded as Carly and Spencer joined them. The tension was palpable, but there was also an unspoken understanding that they were all here for the same reason: to support Michael. The storm ahead. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, it became clear that Chavez's return, Carly's determination, and Spencer's secrets were all connected. Port Charles was on the brink of another storm, and its residents would need to band together to weather it. For now, though, they could only take it one step at a time. Because in Port Charles, the past never stays buried, and the future is always uncertain.